how you guys doing? Um, this week I was kind of wanting to talk about, a little bit of a continuation of the negative aspects that can come out of transitioning, and for this video I want to touch more upon the things that can come from yourself, and you know, I mentioned in the last video religion and family and relationships, and those can be hard to deal with when you don't receive the acceptance that you are searching for. But I personally believe that the hardest thing to deal with is when you've turned on yourself. Like I mentioned at the end of the last video, we are the only people, as individuals. I am the only person, that will be with myself every millisecond of my life. And if there comes a point in time that I have betrayed myself, or I have, stopped having love for myself, or even liking myself, there's you kind of become just, there's not really even a word, it's just kind of like nothingness. Like I had said in I think a few videos ago, I talked about my process of transitioning, and as a kid it was really difficult, because my dad was raised in a very conservative Hispanic Catholic military family, and he has these expectations of what he thinks his child who was born female should look like and dress like and act a certain way. And it made it very difficult to meet those expectations and still be comfortable with myself. When I was younger, I was not allowed to cut my hair. From when I was born till 8th grade, I was not allowed to cut my hair significantly. I was only allowed to get trim, and just to make sure that my ends weren't splitting or any of that nonsense. And my dad, when I was in elementary school, would try to get me to, because we had uniform, and you had the option to wear shorts, pants, or like a skort. Skorts. Who even came up with that idea? That is not okay. It's just not okay. But I would always wear shorts, and my dad would try to get me so much to wear skirts. And as a kid, you can only rebel for so long when you're that young, and then eventually it just comes to the point where he would just put his foot down, and that was it. I was wearing a skirt to school. And already going to school in a skirt, feeling that uncomfortability, was already enough for me. That was already, more than enough than what I needed to make my day be miserable. But to top it off, when you live your life as a tomboy and you are always wearing baggy shorts and baggy shirts, or soccer uniforms and stuff like that, and not really dressing up girly like they say, when you do wear a skirt, everybody and their mom wants to say something about it. Oh, Barbara, you look so cute today. Barbara, you look so great in that skirt. Oh, you should wear that more often. And, you know, I feel bad saying these things now because I feel like it's me being selfish. But at the time, I hated every single person who would give me a compliment. And it was because I couldn't even accept that compliment because it wasn't a compliment that I was wanting to hear. I don't know if that really makes sense. I didn't want to be wearing that skirt. I wanted to be wearing shorts. I wanted to be able to be comfortable. And for every person who would notice and say something, it was just like a magnifying glass on it and just increased my levels of being uncomfortable. And, there got to a point in time where, you start to mature, and my friends would want to dress me up, and they would always beg me, please, can we paint your nails, please? Like, they would all paint their nails, and I would be the only one who wasn't. When I was really little, I had no problem with it, because I didn't know that was only supposed to be for females. One of my friend's younger brothers painted his nails too, and so I thought that it was perfectly fine. But as I began to realize that, guys don't do that unless you're, one of those scene kids who paint their nails black, or like punk rock kids and all that stuff. But in a general norm, guys don't paint their nails. And when I began to have that in my brain, then I began to say, well, I don't want to paint my nails anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to look girly. I don't want to, be feminine. And that's what girls do. And, so then I would have I would have friends when they would dress up or whatnot, and they would paint their nails, or they would do their hair, or, when little girls start to get older, they like to start playing with makeup and stuff like that. And they would always, please, can we do your makeup? Please, can we paint your nails, or can we do your hair, or can we dress you up? And it was very difficult because there's a tearing. There's a part of me that says, no, I don't want to do this. This makes me very uncomfortable. But then there's that part of me that's still a child who just wants to be accepted and loved. And I have all my friends here that are asking me to do this, and I can see their enthusiasm, and I can see their just, in their own way, wanting to accept me and make me involved. And it wasn't that they were trying to force themselves or anything. It was just they were wanting to have me involved. Everybody's painting their nails. Everybody's getting dressed up. Let's include you in the activities. But in a way, it was, I didn't want to be included in that activity. I wanted to be included in them having fun. But I didn't want to be, dressed up or whatnot. And, granted, I don't resent them. I don't have anything, we were kids. We were, that's just what you do as a kid. And, so, and the same thing, as I got older into middle school, we started hitting puberty, and people started dressing, more form-fitting clothes. And then here I am in baggy t-shirts with, the shirts that you get from Hot Topic that have, sarcastic phrases on their shirts, one of my favorite ones, and people like you are the reason people like me need medication. And, stuff like that, like clever things like that, I'm not skipping school, I'm on a self-motivated field trip. Like, that was the type of kid that I was. I was wearing baggy t-shirts and baggy pants, and had a ponytail that was like down to here that never did anything with it. I just put it there, and it was just a hot mess. And and that was the type of kid that I was. And all my friends that were girls, they would say, "Oh, you can look so beautiful. You could look so beautiful. Like, let me dress you up, please." And there were days that I would give in, because you just get to this point that you want to please the people around you, and you just want to be accepted. and I would give in. I don't remember if it was a bet I lost or if I just decided, all right, I just can't handle this. And I think I went 3 days that I went to school and my friends dressed me up. And the first day, I'll never forget this. One of my friends, she brought a pink Abercrombie skirt and said that's what I was wearing that day. I wanted to die. But how do you say no when you see the enthusiasm and the excitement on the face of people you care about? And so I agreed. And I walked around for a whole day in a pink Abercrombie skirt. And it puts tears in my eyes. Excuse me. It's hard. Because you want to... Excuse me. You want to have everybody around you be happy. And you want them to know that you're trying. And you're trying to make them happy. But then there comes a point in time where you no longer become happy. And you can no longer live with that lack of happiness. And it turns to a point where you become miserable. And you look in the mirror and you see ugliness all the time. And it just increases. And it builds upon it. And it's just like the next time that you look at yourself again and you see something new that you hate, it joins with the last thing that you hated about yourself. And they become one. And something that could have initially been this small, and something else that was this small, has now become this big. And then it gets this big when something else that small has been added into it. And it becomes bigger, and bigger, and bigger. And you don't have individual bits of hate. You just have one big portrait of how disgusting you are. When I hit puberty, I got to a point that, like I said in a, I looked up information from online. I was trying to find some answers for myself of why do I feel this way. And I came across a psychologist who posted about an activity that you can do where you stand in front of a mirror and you look in the mirror and you say, I am, and I'll take the way that I did it, for example. You stand in front of a mirror and you say, I am, and then I would say, I am Barbara. And each time you take off an article of clothing and you repeat this until you're standing there naked. And then you do the same thing and you say, you get all your clothes back on and you say, for me, I am Brandon. And you do the same thing. You take off an article of clothing until you're standing there naked and you repeat it each time. And, doing the first part of the exercise and standing there and saying, I am Barbara. By the time that I had removed all my clothing and was standing there naked, I physically became sick. I ended up by just looking at myself, making myself throw up. And to get to a point in your life where you yourself makes yourself sick. It's an unbearable feeling. It is painful beyond explanation. It's one of those things that I have just tried to... I've come to the acceptance that there are people in this world who will never understand. And for so long I tried so hard to have somebody understand why I need to be like this. Why I need to pursue this life. I had people in my family who just, they don't understand. And I found myself using up so much energy and oxygen and efforts and tears and everything to try to get these people to understand that I can't live like that. I have to be this way. Because if not, I can't go on. I got to a point where I realized that I would rather die than look in the mirror for 1 second. You know, when I would be walking in a parking lot, I would avoid car windows because I couldn't stand my reflection. On my mirror that I have in my bedroom, it's covered with stickers everywhere. And there are only 2 spaces that you can see anything, and it's, I have 1 space that I can see my face, and then I have stickers that go like this, and they cover perfectly to my chest, and then I can see my stomach, and then the mirror ends. And, I like clothes, I like looking nice, so I needed to look to see if I'm matched for the day or something. But I couldn't bear to look in a mirror and see the outline of breast, even. And when I did the exercise, the second part, and I stood there and I said, "I am Brandon," by the time that I was naked, I felt just broken. I felt like I had a monster inside of me, and that this monster had forced her way upon me, and there was nothing I could do to escape her. And I was a slave to her power. I was forced to be at her will. If somebody called her name, I was forced to answer. If somebody expected something from her, being female, I was forced to lessen the man that I am, to try to be a woman that I'm not. And I never understood what it meant to be a woman. And I always felt inadequate because I could never seem to just get it right, even when I tried. Right before I came out as a trans male, there was about a month of high school that I wore rash guards, like surf shirts. And they're very form-fitting. I had a 34C. I tried. I went on as humiliating as this is, you know, I went to Macy's and I had somebody fit me, you know, to tell me my size. And I went out and I told my mom, you know, Mom, let's go. We're going to go buy bras. And I didn't buy sports bras. I bought these Maidenform bras. And I tried so hard to get that right. And it just wouldn't work. I thought maybe if I dress this way, it'll just all fall into place. And it didn't. Instead, it just made everything worse. You know, and then, you know, I had a manager when I worked in Miami, and, excuse me, you know, she said to me when I was talking to her about me transitioning, she looked at me and she says, "This is you. I don't know who you were before, but I can tell this is who you are. This is who you are supposed to be." And that is how I feel. I love being a gentleman. I love holding the door open for a lady, and I love opening a car door or helping somebody carry something, or, you know, in my job, I love that 90% of the people who shop there are women. I love that I can just be a gentleman and it's customer service, and I love my job because of it. You know, there was a little old lady who came in yesterday, I'm sorry, and she was trying to stand up. I tried to help her stand up. She said, no, I need to do it on my own. I said, okay. You know, I was like, more power to you. And, you know, but then it started to rain outside. You know, she had a little cane, and I told my manager, you know, give me a second, I'm gonna walk her outside. And I grabbed an umbrella, and I helped her outside, and I just, you know, anybody should do it. It's not just being a gentleman. You know, when you see somebody who's elderly and they are at risk of slipping and falling and really severely hurting themselves, anybody should do it. But it's more known, you know, people see it more as being a gentleman, and that is something that all my life I have longed to be able to be. When I was in Scouts, and I say Scouts because I just like to try to think that I was raised in Boy Scouts all my life, but no, that's not true. I really do love the Girl Scout troop that I was in. It was, you know, my god siblings, my best friends as kids. I had the most supportive troop that I could have had, but out of habit, in case, you know, I'm speaking to somebody who doesn't know, I say Scouts. But, you know, we took an etiquette class, and there was an etiquette class going on the other side of the divided room, and it was for men, or for boys, and I can't tell you one thing that woman told us. I can't tell you one thing that she taught all the girls. But I can tell you probably 90% of the things that I heard the woman who was talking to boys. I just remember, you know, hearing, okay, you pull the chair out this way, and you do, and then you sit, and just all the different things that she had said, I can just remember so vividly. And for anybody who knows how horrible my memory is, it's a big deal that I can remember it. You know, as time has gone on, and I have, you know, taken my steps to transitioning, you know, coming out as bisexual, lesbian, transgender, starting to take testosterone, you know, those negative thoughts have lessened immensely. They're nowhere near as strong as they used to be. You know, I feel the need to live, not the longing to die. And that to me is a daily proof this is the life that I need to live. And that nobody is allowed to change that. And no one will change that. Because when I die, which I'm not planning to die till I'm 115 years old and break the world record. I'm living every second I can. But when I die, only my name will be on that tombstone. No one else's. So until until your name will be etched on my tombstone, you don't deserve my death. Unless my death is for love. I will not give up my life in a form of hatred. Especially when the hatred is myself. And I wish that so many kids who feel like all they have left is death. They're so young. We are all so young. Even people who are older than me. In the grand scheme of things, we are so young. We are just a fragment of time. And we deserve every second of it. Every second that was planned to be ours. We deserve to claim that. And there is nobody in this world who has the right to take it away from us. Now that I've begun to transition, I'm at the point that I am at. It is still hard. There are still times, there's daily, that I will go like this and I will feel excess skin and tissue and fat. And it's painful. It's painful every time that I am not wearing a shirt and I want to go take out the trash or go to the mailbox and I open my front door and I remember, wait, I gotta go grab a shirt. It's painful. But it becomes easier. And I believe I mentioned in my last video that my surgery was denied again. It's painful and frustrating to me because somebody stamps a letter on my application, or stamps ink on my application saying denied. And they get to lay their head down at night. And they get to feel okay with who they are. And that big red letters, those big red letters that say denied, does not affect their life. They don't feel this pain. So how do they have the right to just say, you don't deserve it, when I know so much that I do? Everybody in this world deserves to be happy. And if you're meaning to tell me that skin and tissue and fat is what can make you feel so sad, why would you want to deny that? Why would you want to just say no? And I know that it's not them directly, but it's the system that we've created to tell somebody that you feel ugly, and I have a right to tell you that you need to live feeling that way. Yes, it is considered cosmetic surgery, but if you want to smack on double D's because it makes you feel beautiful, then by all means, do it. I am not really somebody who agrees in plastic surgery, but I am somebody who agrees in happiness. And if you feel you need to change your nose, or change your cheekbones, or change your chest, your butt, your stomach, you want to add pectoral muscles, you want to add biceps and triceps, or have pectoral implants because you don't want to work out at the gym, but you want to have a gorgeous male body, well then by all means, if it makes you sleep at night, then do it. If it makes you love yourself when you look in the mirror, then who is anybody in this world to say no?